welcome back to my channel. This is Midnight Muses hair. Sorry that my hair is so messy, but you know, bedhead and I really don't care. Anyways, just here to do an actual update. I know that I had my video that I posted a few days ago with my BoxyCharm, just doing a little bit like more of like a makeup kind of get back into it thing, and I really like that I did that because it was a little bit more just easy and comfortable for me to get back into filming something that was easy and light and happy. So I thought I'd do more of like an actual update on how I'm doing and why I was away for so long. But then I'm back now and I am at my boyfriend's again today, but that's just because I'm visiting. Which is why I don't have my usual like better setup. I mean, you probably can't tell the difference, but I certainly can. It's a little bit low and showing off the double chin more than I would like, but do what you have to in the moment, because I have my all my setup stuff now is in Oshawa. But that's cool, and I will be back later in the week, and I will shoot probably another makeup themed video there, just because I don't have my contacts here either, and I don't like shooting my glasses just because I really can't see. And if I do makeup with my glasses, obviously I would take them off, but I would have to have the mirror so close that you wouldn't see what I was doing anyway, so there's really no point, because I am super blind. But anyways, we're not talking about makeup today. I just have a little bit on my face just because that's how I am. But anyways, back to me giving you an update. So as I said, I didn't film for about 2 months. And that's because I transitioned from living about 90% of the time in Toronto to living full-time again in Oshawa. Which actually, you know, it kind of goes both ways. It sucks because I do miss that, you know, day-to-day stuff with my boyfriend, but at the same time, you know, sometimes you have to be logical and practical about things, and living up here was great and it was fantastic, but my life is in Oshawa, and, you know, I have a lot of medical stuff that I have to deal with on a near daily basis. I'm actually only able to visit here right now because I don't have appointments until later in the week on this one occasion, which is not common. And so what it meant was there was so much travel involved because I would have to get up super early, you know, drive for 2 hours to get there because during the day there's heavy traffic, and, you know, go for my appointment and then come all the way back here. I always be in a rush to get back here because I'd have to be back here before he went to work so that I could have the keys, and it was just a whole mix-up thing. And also we were, you know, we're trying to save money so that we can have our own place and have our like own lives together and not be like living with a roommate or me living with my parents. And between all of the transportation and everything, it just, we ended up spending more money and not saving anything, and it was just like, this is never gonna happen. So I moved back to Oshawa, and it's been really great. He is able to save more than I am, but that's because he brings in more money than me, but that's fine. I don't want to talk about that side of things, but point is, we are both saving, and it is going a lot more smoothly. We're actually able to have set goals now for when we're going to do things, which is really nice, and hopefully we get to keep these new goals and move forward at a much nicer pace. And you know what? Visiting is fine. They always say, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I mean, not real absence. Like, I see him every week still, but like, it's good. It's fine. We're making it work, and I am happy with it. And I get to spend so much more time with my cat, who I love so much. Hopefully one day I can actually show him on here. He's this great, giant, 30-pound, black, just ball of happiness. Stubborn happiness, but happiness. But he hates being on camera. Like, really, he hates pictures being taken of him, everything. Like, he will sit and cuddle with you for hours. The moment you try and take a picture of him, he's like, no, I'm out of here. But I will try. As you can see, I have my patches on. I've got 2 on right now because I was very bad this weekend and did smoke this weekend, which I feel really disappointed in myself with, because I've been doing really good for actually quite a while now, where I would go a whole week at a time without one, and if I did have one, it literally was 1, you know, or at most 2, and then it'd be right back to nothing again without a problem. This weekend, I don't even want to count it. It was not good. I didn't smoke like in excess by any means, and you know, I went through like the tiny little like super super slims, and that still took me 2 weeks, but most of them were smoked between Friday and Sunday. So I'm still very very displeased with myself, but I'm back at it again. I got some new workout gear on Saturday, which I'm very excited about. I got a little 4-pound weight, which I'm so happy with, because I don't know if I've talked about it, but I have a lot of nerve damage in my left side here. And so it is very, very hard for me to work out, just because the way that it works for me is I will lose feeling before I know that I've lost feeling. And so I have to be very careful with, because if something's too heavy, I'll drop it. And I won't know that I've dropped it until I hear that I've dropped it. And that can be very dangerous. Which is why, as much as I love the gym, I have to be so careful, because obviously you don't want to, you know, if you're working on your arms, you don't want to just drop it on one side, and then it can be dangerous. I used to love the gym, but I find that when I go to the gym, I use more of like the workout room than anything else. And weights have actually been a really big issue for me, because I love working on my arms. I'm actually very, very good in terms of knowing workouts and how to do them properly. Besides the fact that even when I was in high school, I actually used to go to the gym every single day. It was part of our program. My sister is a personal trainer and whatnot, and so I'm pretty good with that, and I've gotten like tested by personal trainers at gyms and like, oh, you have perfect form. And it's like, cool, awesome. So I don't need you. They're like, yeah, no, not at all. Just pay $8,000. Hate gyms. Anyways, back to this. I'm very, very happy with this weight in particular. The reason why is because it is very easy to get your hands on 2.5 weights, and it is very easy to get your hands on 5-pound weights. Neither one of those work for me. The 2.5 is not heavy enough. Like, I don't feel anything when I do it. I could literally do it for hours and hours and not notice, which is not how it should be. And the 5-pound, unfortunately, is just that little bit too heavy, where after like a couple of reps, the dropping situation happens. Again, very dangerous. Don't want to go through that. So I found this little 4-pound guy when I was at Winners on Saturday. It was great. I actually walked around the store for about 10 minutes, and I purposefully held it in this hand, my left hand. And the whole time I felt it there. Like, I didn't drop it, and it felt heavy, but I felt it. And I didn't drop it. I never lost feeling in my hand. So I was like, okay, I found the perfect weight. You know, it's heavier than 2.5, but not 5. And so it's been really great. I used it a lot yesterday, probably a little bit too much, but I'm sore, but not so sore today that I don't think I can do a little bit still, so I'm going to. I also got some new of these guys, the resistant band things. I got a light, a medium, and a heavy. I just have the light with me right now, again, because my left side, just with the nerve damage, it takes a lot to build it up. And because this is probably the first time, well, starting this year is the first time that I've really gotten back strongly into trying to rework that side. It will take a very long time. I have to be very careful, but I do have the light, medium, and strong. I can use the medium and strong depending. I can use the strong on my leg and the medium on my right arm, but I would like to get to a point where I can preferably use the medium everywhere and have that be good. But it's going well. I'm really motivated. And actually, I've been consistently motivated. And that is an unusual thing for me. I think it's part of just, you know, growing up, and I don't know, it's kind of like easier to stick to things. It's a little bit, I've learned a lot. I don't know if it was from like my time in the hospital and all the therapy that I've done, but something that I've always struggled with is you make one mistake, you failed everything. And I'm very, very hard on myself in that way. And something that I've been learning is, if you make one mistake, then you make one mistake. You haven't failed everything. You just kind of fell off a little bit in this one area. And it doesn't affect everything. It just affects this one thing. And usually, you can change that. It's like, before, if I tried to quit smoking and I had one cigarette, well, then that was it. I'm smoking again. And actually, quitting smoking has really made me learn that properly, because when it came to quitting anything else, it was like that, where it's like, you're just never going to drink again, or you're just never going to do drugs again. And that's how it was. That's it, cold turkey. I just changed my thought process, and that's how it is. And it was always easier for me. But especially things in terms of like my weight, and with this quitting smoking, it's not easy. You know, you do fall off the bandwagon. And as I said, having that process where it's like, again, you have one cheeseburger, and therefore your healthy lifestyle. It's completely gone. It's over. There's no point in going back to it. Clearly you failed and you can never do this. I have learned that that is not the case. You have one cheeseburger. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Everyone deserves to have a cheeseburger or a slice of cake or whatever it is that you like. Everyone deserves that. Everybody. It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you needed to treat yourself. And as long as you're not doing it every single day or in excess, that's fine. You know, like, and with the quitting smoking, it's like, if you have one cigarette with your brother or your friend or whoever, as long as you don't keep doing it, that's fine. You know, it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you had a rough spot or you had a pause. Nothing's over. Nothing's finished. It's just a pause. You can keep going. And I'm still in the process of learning that, but I'm really understanding that, and it's really affected me in a very, very positive way. It's allowed me to be a lot gentler with myself and a lot stronger in another sense, because I've always had this black and white thinking, and I think to a degree I always will. It goes along with the borderline, you know, the black and white thinking, but you know, you gotta learn how to rewire that. And I think that's, you know, people with borderline, we have such a horrible reputation because of this black and white thinking, and you know, we see things in only one of two ways, and it has to be this way or it has to be that way, and that's all there is to it. There's no gray area. But teaching yourself that yes, there is. You know, there's room for mistakes, and there's room for growth, and there is room for continuation. It's really, really important, and it takes a lot of time. It is really difficult, but it is possible. And I kind of just wanted to say that it is possible. You just have to keep going. Always keep going. And actually, and even with my workouts, like I think I've talked about it before, where it's like, I'll be really, really steady for a few weeks, and then I'll have a whole week where I do nothing, usually when I have my period. But then after that point, it's hard to get back on. But this year I have found that I can. And I don't always do it right away. Sometimes I've gone 3 weeks without working out because I've just been like, oh, can't do it. You haven't done it. And I start going back into that black and white thinking, well, you haven't done it this long, there's no point. But then again, you have to be like, no, that was a pause. It is not the end of the movie, the story, the book, whatever. It is just a pause. You know, give yourself a breath, get back on it, keep going. And I'm really, really, you know, trying and doing that. And it's been working, you know, and I've had a lot of pauses along the way, even in this 1 year that I've been like really actively into that. But I'm still always making progress. Actually, a really big thing for me is I saw one of my caseworkers on Friday, because I meet with them every week or two. And I hadn't seen this particular caseworker in about 2 months. And he said, hey, how's your working out going? And I was like, yeah, it's going all right. Wow. And he's like, you are noticeably a lot more toned and slimmed than the last time I saw you. And that meant so much to me, because when you are in this journey, you don't notice it until there's been a big change. So having somebody be like, hey, I'm seeing what you're doing. I haven't seen you in 2 months, and you look very different. That means a lot, you know. And you know, usually when people say they notice a difference, they notice my hair, because my hair is always changing. But like, to say size wise, and at the time I was wearing like a tank top and shorts too, so like there was nothing hiding. So it was like, that meant so much to me, especially from someone that I don't see on the regular, you know. Like, love my boyfriend, love my mom, and they tell me all the time that they're noticing these small changes and these little things, and you know, they're seeing progress and they're really happy with it. And I, don't get me wrong, I love hearing that. It's fantastic, because it definitely helps with motivation. But having someone that you haven't seen in a long time be like, hey, there's been a big change in just these 2 months, especially knowing that in those 2 months you've had some pauses, that helps the most. Because it's like, you know what, okay, even with these pauses, I'm still making progress. I'm still working like my way through things, and it helps me a lot, especially because I don't really use a scale very much. Like, honestly, I have no idea what I weigh right now, because the last time I weighed myself, it said that I'd gained 4 pounds, even though I was fitting into smaller clothes. But my weight's always been shifty like that, and so I don't count it, because if I have my period, it'll tell me that I've gained 11 pounds. you know, and I'm a very muscular person. So I will always be heavier than someone else who looks like me. Like I know people that are bigger than me and way less than me. Because like my fat really is my arms, and then I have fat on my stomach, but like my legs don't really have a lot of fat on them. They're big, but they're solid because I grew up dancing and playing soccer and running around. So like I'm very, very strong. I've always been very, very strong. I've always been pretty active. Even when I'm lazy, I can't handle being lazy. My boyfriend will tell you that I think I drive him nuts a little bit because when we're supposed to be having our relaxing days, I can't do it. I'll watch one, maybe two movies, and like yesterday, you know, we stayed in the apartment all day and that was fine, but I worked out throughout all of one movie and then halfway through another movie. So like I need to move, and before I had my workout gear here, when last Sunday when we were just hanging out watching movies again, I remember he started gaming and I wanted to go to bed and I could not sleep because I wasn't active enough that day. So I literally went flying out of bed, threw on some like regular pants and stuff, like switch out of my pajamas, and ran out the door. And he turned off his game really fast and chased after me. He was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I need to move. I need to move. I can't just stay sitting all day like that. Like, I don't know how you can. I physically can't do it." And I think I get a lot of that from my mom, who is always, always, always on the move. If you look at her step count in a day, it is insane because she is always on the move. And I think to a degree I get that from her. I even have my best friend Chelsea, who likes to joke and ask me if I'm drunk all the time. I don't drink, by the way. But it's because we bake a lot when we hang out together. And so I'll be standing at the oven and I'll just be doing this. And it's just because being still is a really difficult thing for me. And what you guys can't even see, because, you know, I'm on the camera, it's only showing up here, is that my feet are going. And they're tapping and wiggling and moving because, and that's so that I can try and keep up here as still as possible so that I don't shake on camera and go out of focus all the time. And my hands constantly as always moving as well. I need movement. And that helps. And also working out, helps it a lot too, actually, because it gives me a focused point, you know, to really get that activity in, and it actually helps me to be a little bit more still in those off moments, so I actually can relax a little bit, so I'm not, you know, watching TV but jittery or needing to do something and like my brain is just moving around too much because I haven't had enough physical activity. It's I'm finding that I'm able to focus so much more on my books. And I'm always a fast reader. I process information in terms of reading very, very quickly. I always have. But sometimes, like, if I'm not being active, like physically active enough, I'll notice that even though I read fast, and I do process fast, I'm not processing as quick as I'm reading. And it's like I can't read slower. And so I ended up having to reread the same page multiple times to be like, okay, now you got it. So I really, really like having dedicated physical time every single day because it helps every other aspect of my life to run smoother and run better. So I don't know. I've run off on a tangent here. I was trying to like update you on what was going on, but I mean it is my health is the most important thing to me right now. I think because that's the only thing that I'm still trying to like get down pat, that I'm still kind of struggling with. You know, my love life is great. I have a great boyfriend. It's healthy. Our communication is good. I mean, it could always do with improving on my end. I'll be the first to admit that, but it works. You know, we know how to talk to each other. It's good. I have absolute trust and love in him. So that's good. My family life is doing very, very well. You know, I've actually gone on a couple walks with my sister, which I almost never do. So I've really, really enjoyed having like that half an hour to just like chat and joke and sometimes sing stupid songs with, well, I sing with my mother. And she laughs and Jennifer laughs at us, but that's fine. Like it's great. It's camaraderie. It's fantastic. I love it. And you know, my mom goes out for a walk with me every day if I ask her to, and it's fantastic. And I'm technically supposed to be walking by myself because I'm doing exposure therapy right now. But I'm not there yet. I'll be completely honest. I am not there yet. The fact that I'm going out for walks is enough for me at the moment. And you know, my doctor agreed. She's like, you should be taking baby steps. And if you have to walk with somebody, you have to walk with somebody. As long as you're out walking, that's what counts. And I think also that being in Oshawa makes a really huge difference for me there, especially because that's my home. You know, I wasn't born there, but it basically was. I moved there when I was like 1. That's my comfort zone. I know the ins and outs of that city like the back of my hand, and it's easier for me to do exposure therapy there because I know it so well. I know what stores are going to be quiet, so I can walk into them for a couple of minutes, and you know, and because that's one thing I have been doing alone, and it's not for very long. I think my top is 20 minutes, but the point is I've done it. And it's because I know the area. I know what times to go into places where it's not going to be overcrowded, where I can be like, okay, you can do this, you can breathe. And then that helps me lead up to a point where it's like, you know, maybe one day I will be able to go in when it's crowded, or go to the mall by myself, or go to a grocery store by myself, because I've done those small baby steps first. And I don't know, it all comes together, you know, eating well, exercising, going outside, talking to people, even talking here on YouTube. I've actually missed it greatly because I love it as an outlet to just talk, you know, and hopefully reach anybody out there who maybe is struggling too, and help them feel better about themselves. Or even if it is just the makeup, you know, make them be like, oh, hey, you know, that's a cool technique. Or, you know, I wanted to try that product, so you tried it, and now I know whether it's good or bad, and can help me decide if it might be good or bad for me, right? And I don't know, I've really, really missed making these videos and being here and talking to all of you guys. So hopefully you like this. I know it was rambly. I'm so rambly. I need to like write things down more so that I can actually come up with something. But when I get a little farther along in my progress, I'll do a bigger updated video on like exactly what I've done to get there, and food plans. So if you are interested in any of that, how I'm eating, what kind of workouts I'm doing, please just, you know, leave me a comment and let me know, and I will do a video on it. That's fine. Just, I know that right now people are going to look at me and be like, progress? What progress? But I've made a lot of progress. Anyways, I hope everyone... thank you for letting me ramble on, and I'll be back soon. All right, bye.